The 1960s brought great change to America. The world was still recovering from World War II, but there were two people in one group that changed everything. The first in this group was actress Audrey Hepburn. She was best known for her role in the 1961 movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, and that movie was about a man and a woman. He was a writer and she was an escort, and the whole story is just about them falling in love. And really, this movie was it was so iconic and so memorable, and people loved her role in it because, she is an escort, but she comes across as a classy woman, and she's beautiful, and, everybody just wanted to look like her, and she was just kind of quirky and did her own thing, and I think that's what really draws the two characters together in this movie. So it really did become, an iconic film. Um, Audrey Hepburn, she was also, like I said, a fashion icon. I mean, everybody wanted to dress like her, and you can search online Audrey Hepburn fashion, and there's so many different types of clothing styles and things that they recommend so you can look like Audrey Hepburn, and she had, big eyes, and everyone thinks of her as a girl with pulled back, dark hair and cute little front bangs, and she just had these bushy eyebrows, and just the specific look comes to your mind when you think of Audrey Hepburn. She was just a beautiful woman. The third reason why Audrey had such an influence over America was that a lot of people don't know she was a philanthropist. She traveled. She traveled to over 50 different countries. I believe it's 50 countries, or maybe she traveled 50 times. But she raised money by selling her clothing, and she wanted to help people. She wanted to help the kids who were starving, and she was just a really good person. And she set aside her acting career for her kids, and so she could, pursue her knowledge of the world and trying to help people, and she was just a really amazing person. The second group that really influenced America was the Beatles. They came to America in 1964. They were doing a world tour, and when they came, girls were shrieking, and everybody loved them. I mean, they say that at Beatles concerts, not only was it hard to hear the music because girls were just shrieking and screaming, but you could often smell urine because of just how excited these girls were, and just how, yeah, they would urinate themselves, and it was crazy how much they related to people, and they really, just young and old, anyone, just like their mellow sort of music, it was just, it could reach the hearts of anyone, really. Yeah, they were also influential because they had over 200 songs written, and so many of them were hits. I mean, Here Comes the Sun, I Want to Hold Your Hand, Hey Jude, you can just go on and on and on. And when you hear these songs, most people do recognize, hey, that's the Beatles, And even if you're not a huge fan, you still have to admit that they have had a huge influence over America and culture, and just everything. The third reason why the Beatles were so just influential over change of America was their song. One song in particular, Helter Skelter. It influenced cult leader Charles Manson. He believed that it was a song about how whites were gonna have a war with blacks, and it was just going to be complete chaos and destruction, and the song intentionally was just to say, the craziness of life, and sort of like an up and down roller coaster, but Charles Manson actually took that a step further, and he really believed that the world was going to come to an end. I mean, but he was crazy, but so that's just a little part about their influence over over America, and yeah, just all their hits and all their music. It was just so mellow and so touching. It really just people can really hold on to that. You know, it's nostalgic when you hear it. The third person that really influenced America in the 60s was Alfred Hitchcock. All of his movies were very thrilling and just really, um, for the first time, people were viewing movies, horror movies, in a whole new way. Um, people just, they had never seen the kind of things that Hitchcock was kind of um, portraying, and you know, movies such as like The Birds and Psycho. They were just like, they were movies that everybody refers to. And when you hear Psycho, even if you haven't seen the movie, you know exactly, you know what people are referring to, and you imagine that shower scene in your head. And you know, it is a pretty scary movie for its time, and just the whole storyline behind it and the mystery. It was like nothing America had seen before. It was incredible. Just his use of camera angles and different things, and he found ways to make everything from a different perspective. No one had seen this, and people that worked with him had said, you know, just how incredible it was, but how weird of a person he was, and it really shows up in his films. Um, yeah, just his movie Psycho had a huge influence on America. Um, like I was saying, you think of that shower scene immediately in your head, and he was just so influential on movies, and you know, people really, like The Birds, people really believed it, and they started to fear it, and I think that's where the true um, intensity comes out. Like, he didn't just make a movie, he made a legacy, and he made a cult classic out of that, and people can really watch it, and it's timeless. It really is. So he definitely had a huge influence on America, and just the things he did and all of his creations. And yeah, so Audrey Hepburn, the Beatles, and Alfred Hitchcock, all very talented people, all had a huge influence on America. Everybody's heard of these people, and you know, they really have changed lives. They just, their talents really show, and you can see it through their work. So yeah, those are three people that have influenced America in the 1960s and changed the game.